Welcome to MennTalk, K84 Podcast. Introducing the host, me, myself, Mr. Davis. He never smelled. He's a reptile.
Right.
Let's introduce our guest today.
What's up? This is Junior Coyle from Owasso, Oklahoma. I'm a life coach. I own a business called Visionary Version. Check us out.
What's up? I'm Jake, manufacturer, husband, father of two.
All right, I'm Kiko. Kiko's Construction, Big Kiko, big underscore K33KO on Instagram and YouTube. I'm a contractor and I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
And our topic today is submission and 50-50 in relationships, which I think, mine is kind of static. Well, anyway, what I think is 100-100. What y'all think on that topic?
So
Junior?
I think submission, right? It's something that has to be done on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it can't be. I think the old traditional sense of I'm the man, you're the woman, so you belong in the kitchen. I'll go make the money. Like that sense of submission, like that. I don't think that's relevant today. It needs to be. Oh, it needs to be closer?
Yeah.
Oh,
Can't hear you.
well, just say that shit, man. Fuck, come on, bro.
I was trying to
be sensitive about this.
My bad. I was trying to
Hey, let's pause. Hey,
pause.
No, keep going. We got this.
Yeah.
So the submission on both sides, right?
Okay.
Like, nowadays it needs to be more of like, and not even just financial. It needs to be on that emotional, mental, intellectual level to understand one another, right? So you're like, you're fully blended, and I don't know if that makes sense, but it's
Hell yeah,
like, so I'm supposed to be this dominant, typical traditional male that, and I love it when women say, well, give me something to submit to, and it's like, okay.
I can't talk to you.
Right. What are you?
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, no, like, I don't care whether you submit to me. Like, I've got what I'm doing, right? And if we can mesh and mingle and find a middle ground, because I believe ultimately submission is ultimately just that compromise that you have for one another. And the fact that you're willing to have that compromise in and of itself is being submissive. And if you miss that, like, maybe you should probably not be in a relationship.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. Let's flow.
14-point plan. Bing, bing.
Jake?
To me, it's big on give and take. You know, in the last episode, I talked a lot about the graces I have in my marriage. And with submitting and give and take, this is something we butt heads with each other a lot. Because we both love to go do stuff outside of just having to take care of the kids, you know, things kids can't go do.
Y'all human.
Right.
And a lot of that is her letting me go do stuff, whether it's hanging out with my boys, going fishing, but you know, they're too young to be doing stuff like with me like that right now. So
Right.
you know, I have to have her stay
Either way,
home
that's
with both
still
the
your
kids.
time.
Sure, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
And then vice versa too. And like her job is very emotionally draining. So
She chose it at the same. Sorry, my
absolutely.
bad.
No,
Let me
no,
let
no,
you finish.
no,
Let me let you finish. Let me let you finish.
bro. Come on.
Let me let you.
and she did, and she does love it. But at the same time, you know, I am her husband, and I try to be there for her, and I do. I let her go out with her friends, or maybe go have a lunch where we have the kids and stuff like that. And I think one of our where we butt heads is we have to stop keeping this tally. And I am 100% guilty as it too. Like, I'll be like, hey, I want to go fish with my dad. It's like, well, we can't really do this. Remember that time I let you go out with blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I'm guilty of that. She's guilty of that. We both, and that's where that controversy comes through, is we both keep tallies of our submissions.
Okay.
And
you owe me one.
Tit for tat.
Kiko, what you say, bro?
I like
submission 50-50. What we talking?
Man, I mean, it's pretty much not 50-50. It's do what I want when I want. You know, like it's pretty much what it comes down to, and that's both ways. It's not man or woman. Like there's times where you'll see a woman and you're dealing with her, and it's like, okay, I want her to do this or that, but she might not want to do it right away, and that might not even be expected right away. But at the same time, it's like, this is what I want. I'm a man. Hear me roar. But that don't always got to be the thing, you know? Exactly. You know? So it's like, really, it's not a 50-50. It's just seeing the person and deciding if that's what you want at the end of the day. And just living life. You can't be tit for tat otherwise. And that's human nature, especially in this world, because we're all taught to be individuals. And that's good to a degree, because once you're a part of a team and a system, you got to realize that you are a part of that and realize your level, your role, and what you do and how you keep it rolling and moving. So that's a big thing that's missing as far as the submission, because that part of keeping it rolling and moving is submitting. And the 50-50 is, okay, we both contributing our part to get this 100%. And people don't ultimately want that. They're thinking of their 100 versus the team's 100. So
right. That's right.
That's it for me.
Hey, Kiko, I got to say on that, dude, that, like, you nailed the 50-50 for me. Like, it's...
So I told Trump,
the fact that you're trying to go in a relationship as 50-50, it promotes that tit for tat that destroys the relationship. And
what's
like
50-50?
The last two relationships I've had, right? I was like, oh, I'll do this 50-50 thing. Like, let's try that, right? It's a different approach, right? Because I've had other relationships not succeed. So let's try something different. You know, switch the game up. Okay, maybe this will be something that works really good. And that 50-50 changes. And what I mean by that is, like, okay, yeah, we'll go half on bills and rent and, you know, food. Cool, whatever. But then it changes to, well, you know, in all reality, like, you make $93,000 a year, as where I make 45, and so ultimately I feel like I'm paying more, and so then it becomes a continuation of trying to redefine that 50-50, and it's like, hey, by the way, because even in this instance, I feel like, okay, cool, and yeah, I make more money than you, but I also pay for all the dates when you want to go to that cool ass fucking concert. Be okay. No. Like, but if, like, you want to be real on, like,
50-50. You're saying 50-50.
Yeah. So
straight down the middle, basically.
Right. And it's like, oh, so you want to do it financially, cool. So the financial burden's out of the way, and I understand that concept of a relationship. But when you say, like, okay, well, we're doing half the bills or whatever, well, but you make this much more money, okay, cool. But those concerts you want to go to, you want to go see that Bill Burr in Kansas City, Missouri, or cool, we'll go do those things. But also understand that more money I make is more outgo, like, that I'm using for that, while I'm also taking care of this, where I know as you, when you have extra money, you're going to go get your nails done. You're going to go to a day spa or some shit.
Save it.
Like, that's cool, right? I'm not tripping on that. But when a woman starts coming at me with that kind of shit of, like, well, you know, this isn't really 50-50, because she's changed the narrative of the 50-50. And that's what I'm going back to with Yukiko, is it becomes that tit for tat. Like, who does this, who does that?
Tit for tat, though, because you fucking... You putting up
to me, that's tit for tat.
She's trying to, but it's not the same. She's like, well, you got this. She looking at your pot. That's what we call in the hood, counting pockets.
I call it a leech.
I call it counting pockets. She counting your pockets, and he got more than me. He can pay my half and his. Basically, if you saying that 40, so her 40 plus, we gonna say that's the half. So she trying to leave you with 10 while she still got her 40. If we just being whatever, general or just done with it. But
okay, but that goes back to the 50-50.
She's trying to be selfish. That's not 50-50.
No, but that,
your money don't matter,
because that understanding of 50-50 changes, and then it becomes, as it changes, that more tit for tat type thing. Well, you do this, you do that, and I can do this.
That's men. Let me ask you a question. Have we lost sight of reality? See, what you looking at as 50-50, you looking at it as your version of 50-50, not her version.
Oh, we
of
had that
50-50.
open conversation,
Or
real clear.
submission, or whichever level that you want to go to. See, the thing about submission and 50-50, just from my vantage point,
They're almost opposite. Like, cause
they are totally opposite.
Yeah.
But we as men, we don't focus on 50-50 because we know we have a job to do. We don't focus on submission because we know we got a job to do. We are
I'm just here
willing
to love
submit.
you, respect you, be loyal to you, and do what I do. So just calm down and let me love you. It's kind of like,
Mesh.
Not-
really
not
be
even
left
really-
alone. We
Listen,
want to be left
the
alone.
thing
That's
is,
me.
love comes at the very end when we dine in the bed together.
Senior
Everybody
citizen.
sit here and think that relationships is all just good and peaches and cream and roses. It's more hardships in a good relationship than good ships. But can you go through? Can you fight together? And can you get past
That's
them?
love.
You love somebody whenever you hold that hand and they leave and a piece of you left with them. We don't fight no more. So when we talk about submission, I mean, for example, on the last episode, we talked about we are getting too trapped behind words and what other people's definitions are to them words, and we can never live to somebody else's expectation of the word. So if you don't feel that you fit that mold of what they see as submission and 50-50, I don't even need to waste time, because I'm gonna be sitting here trying to prove every day to you that I fit what you think is submission and what you think is 50-50.
and I did that for about the last 7 months of the last relationship I was in, and that's the reason why the last 6 months I've been single.
That's good though. You need it.
But you know what I'm saying? Like,
Find that clarity.
like the moment I could see it for what it is, I had to step away, and now I need to be able to actually see it for what it is.
So we got a relationship expert on the pod.
J.
Oh,
Because
Jake, the married one,
he's floating in a realm
the
that
force
we
is strong with
haven't.
him.
We haven't.
Let us know.
So it's funny. That's being called the expert, because you actually gave me quite the epiphany.
Bro, if I have a relationship, I'm calling you.
Dude, knowledge comes from mistakes.
That's a fact,
You know
bro.
what I'm
Man.
saying?
That's a fact.
And only
And,
way to win
facts.
is to fail.
Bump your head.
I
We
mentioned
men.
how
Yeah.
like our 50-50 can be negative, but in some ways I think 50-50 is okay to describe it, because a positive submission, and back to what you said, and it was a little bit of a jab, and I liked it, was that her job is stressful, and well, she chose that. Well, wouldn't a good example of submission be that almost self-sacrifice, knowing she chose the way, but choosing to do it anyway, because submit that, submitting
To support
that situation, to be like, okay, I know you chose it because you
Add
love
to the
it,
team.
and I love you, so I'm going to let you have that bath with a couple glasses of wine or go out with your friends. I'm going to submit to that rough day.
But go ahead,
And,
keep flowing.
She does the same thing for me. So you were mentioning finances and things like that. We don't have a lot of that, because all my money just goes into our bank account.
That's
You know what I mean? So when we go out, whatever, it's just both the money being spent. So there's days where, even though I make significantly less, because she's obviously bringing more money to the table to be able to do those fun things, but she still knows that right now I'm working 2 jobs and then coming home and taking care of the kids for about 2 hours before she gets home. So on those like Sundays when I'm out working, I'll come home at about noon and these kids are walling out, they're all awake, and she'll just let me go nap for 3 hours, even though she's had a full week as well.
That's cool.
Knowing that I'm coming in out the heat, because I
Can I ask you a
I've
question?
never experienced that.
that's another positive submission. Knowing I'm choosing to do this so we can kind of
Devil's
skate by
advocate?
yeah, go for
Can
it.
I ask
Absolutely.
you a question?
Yeah, sure.
Submit as a man.
Okay.
Do you ever have them thoughts of, she makes more money than me, she's at work with guys that make more money than her? Am I secure enough in my skin to know that we are, or do I have to worry and guess, is this coming to an end?
So
I'm just gonna say I think that he's confident enough.
No. Let him answer, because you want to get this perspective. No, we're not trying to jab at no marriage.
At
nothing.
all.
No,
We're just trying to ask
I was
about
gonna
the-
build him up real quick, like,
No, let
because he seems competent enough that he's cool.
We just want to know from a man.
this
honestly.
is it's a very specific answer. I can see to sit here and say that I don't think about it would be a complete lie. But is it something that stays on my mind? No.
Right.
Yeah. There you go.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you're right. I am confident. But again, it's the way our relationship came about. Earlier, before we started rolling, I was telling you how she went to the Peace Corps.
Yeah.
That was a scary, jealous time, knowing that she's 5,000 miles away with a bunch of like-minded men. Because my wife isn't about the money, but what she is about is how someone lives their lives in their idealism. And how she's around a bunch of like-minded men. Talking about being stressed out all the time. Not being able to, because we're communicating through WhatsApp at the time. And, you know, so during that year and a half that she was gone and that we were apart, was very hard. It was the most difficult things I've ever had to do. And our relationship almost did not make it. You know what I mean? That was a great testament to where we are now. But so now, had gone through that, and then being
How
married.
long have y'all been together? I'm sorry.
We've been together.
No, he said a year and a
5
half.
years.
So yeah,
5 years.
gotta
We've
be-
been married for 2, but we also dated through. I met her when I was 16. I'm 32 now. You know what I mean? So we've been
history
friends.
is there.
That's where that friendship foundation
And
is.
just the reason I asked that is because as men, we know any relationship we go into, we submit no matter which level of submission it is.
Sure.
If you know
Absolutely.
you have a breadwinner,
Yeah.
bro, you don't have to be ashamed of that, because if y'all are truly a team, then okay, my submission is different than another man who's in the position that she's in. So he's willing to do the same. Why is it so bad that some women are achievers?
Right. It seems like it's fucked up when okay, this is a good situation. A man can meet a woman. She worked at McDonald's. She had $10 to her name. In 2 years, she's making $120,000 a year and own 2 houses. He's a good ass man. He did his shit. He did the thing, right? But a woman do the exact same thing for a man, then what? She's a trick. He's a pussy. He's a bitch. He's not doing what he's supposed to do. And it's
He's
like,
not a man.
that's
A
partnership.
real man.
That's real partnership at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
And that's real 50-50, because at the end of the day, that 50-50 is going to make that 100. Sometimes it's 80-20. Sometimes it's fucking 90-10.
And I agree
You
with that
know?
100%. Like, and that's the way it should work.
Should.
And so please understand, when I speak, I'm not speaking on generalization. I'm not speaking on what I think of society. I'm telling you all from my own personal experience, okay? So it's not like I'm trying to pander to what's fucking trendy or any of that other shit. Like, I'm telling you my experience. And me talking about how that idea 50-50 that changes, right? That's been my experience, you know. But I totally 100 agree. That's what you just said, Kiko. I 100% believe that if you're going to say 50-50, okay, that's the way to view 50-50. Is like, hey, check this out. I'm going to have my phenomenal time, sweetheart, and you're never going to have to worry about shit. But if I ever drop the ball, or like, okay, so last summer, I had a 30-foot fucking tree drop on me when I was trying to start a tree company.
Sheesh.
I still went about 10 grand into my credit cards while paying bills and all that other shit, doing the 50-50 right, but making sure like we're still being able to go out. We're still being able to enjoy normal things, right? That submission aspect, right? But that right there started the change in her behavior. I could see, right, that like, oh, this is done. Because she didn't see it as 50-50. Like, because it was supposed to be like, I do majority of it all the time, and that's 50-50 because you pay half on rent. But like when I'm down, right, like I was injured, right, but I still made sure we maintain the same kind of living, the same kind of regular activity, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's, bro, for a better lack of a word, it was just like, oh, now I have to step up. I'm done.
See, but the thing is, people waste too much time guessing in relationships.
I don't want to have to fucking guess. I assume that it should be like what
That's
Kiko saying.
the biggest thing. It shouldn't be any assumptions or guesses.
None of that.
Yeah.
Like, if it's yours, she knows. Just like you should know. People waste weeks, months, years thinking that you're gonna be this person. And then you get back out into the dating market and blame everybody else for what you chose to put up with. Yeah. That's not my business. And you're not going to put your faults and mishaps on your past onto my present, because as a man, I know my value. I'm not sticking around for shit that I'm not willing to put up. And I expect you to do the same thing.
So that's where I go back to, like... That's the reason why I'm not in a relationship right now, because what I just fucking went through. I know for me to engage with a female on any kind of romantic aspect of like that I generally care, it's gonna be something other than genuine, and authentic. Like, because I have other preconceptions and other things I'm going through.
Sometimes you gotta clap some cheeks.
I can see how that.
No. That like goes through my mind, but at the same time, I know me, so I'm just like, I'm gonna stay out of this, and I'm just gonna work on me.
You had a,
you know what I'm saying? Like I work on
terrible example of submission. Like the fact that you felt like you had to go into more credit card debt to keep a lifestyle
that
going.
Broke my heart to hear that
shit.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm glad you was transparent enough.
But know this, okay? So let's get real for a fucking second, right? I come from a gang lifestyle, right? So it's like, I'm down for you, homie. I'm fucking down. No, I'm not here to play fucking games with you.
I can't do that.
Like, no.
She wasn't down, though.
Okay,
they gotta be down.
So a good example of submission would have been like, hey, maybe we cool it on going out for a while while you're hurt.
Yeah.
So,
facts.
And that's what your woman...
She should have said that, though.
No. But this is where me as a man, my pride came in, and I was like, no, I still need to do these same things,
You
right?
should have said it, too, though.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm owning my own shit. Like, I didn't draw that line because, like, at the same time,
you
like,
want to appease.
Like,
but the whole idea is submission, right? Like, that's what we're talking, and it's 50-50. So even if you don't draw that line, that's what's so important about 50-50 submission is that she should know. Okay, look, he's probably feeling a little prideful. He's not going to come out and say it. I mean, I think it's okay every once in a while for a woman to be like, hey, you drop this for a second.
Well, she was being dominant. He was submitting and giving up his everything. It's not right.
But we still sitting up here as she shoulda.
I should have.
No, it's not even the he or the she. The main fucking problem in that whole scenario was pride.
Yeah.
You thought that you should because you're used to. But now that she wasn't willing to ride while that money got low, what was the problem? You know what? She. That's our biggest problem. Submission and 50-50. We are putting too much emphasis on words. Everything is not for everybody. Okay. It's just not. So, my version of submission is a lot different than yours. Your version of 50-50 is a lot different than anybody's, because I move in a different manner than anybody else.
So you don't think there's a generalization whatsoever?
No, I don't. Okay. I just think everybody's trying to make it. Okay. Submission means list.
So the examples of submission I gave is good for my relationship.
For yours, maybe not be good for mine, or even, and it may works for y'all.
So do you think by saying that she should have done that, I'm kind of projecting my own relationship onto the example that he just gave, or do you think that would be good advice, or maybe that's something that he could look for in the future?
I would say,
in the future, I'm only looking for myself.
But the thing is, it wasn't really a problem with his situation.
Okay.
The problem with his situation was his